Meet a shapeshifter with the worst acid reflux imaginable. An oracle with a mean case of gastroenteritis. I'm Eben from Grinding Gear Games, and this time we're taking a good long look into Pants and their poison basketballs. In Wyvern form, this off-brand Godzilla is capable of hawking up toxic globs of magma, which can melt packs of monsters at an impressive speed. These regurgitated poison basketballs give new meaning to the term dribbling, perhaps the most disgusting game of basketball ever played. Pants has turned a fire skill into a poison skill by hitting as many of the chance to poison on hit nodes as possible on the passive tree. They're also making full use of the cosmetic Lichborn rolling magma effect to complete the poisonous look. At the core of this build is the Ducati's Aya lineage support gem. This allows Pants to speed up their poison damage by 2% per rage. Pairing this with the Eternal Rage buff and a cluster of Oracle-only passive nodes, we can ensure our stress levels stay high enough to rapidly poison our enemies. You'd be amazed at how fast Pants can drop these balls of poison magma. Interestingly, there is no need to stack poisons on this build. Our poison duration is so short that we can deal all our poisonous payload in one caustic blast. Because our magma orbs bounce, they can actually re-poison enemies before the projectile even expires. Then we can make use of specific mods that work well with a single powerful short poison. For this, Pants is using the Megalomaniac Jewel, which allocates low tolerance, giving a 60% increase in effective poison on enemies that aren't already poisoned. We're also using the Oracle-only notable called First Sting, which is a further 80% increase, and a crafted mod on the Plague Finger unique gloves using the Vaal Cultivation Orb, which brings the total to 200% increase in poison effectiveness. All this, including Herald of Plague, means our regurgitated magma can spread from enemy to enemy, causing a chain reaction. This works together to give Pants a potentially preposterous punt to the potency of our projectile puke. As mentioned, this build makes use of the Vaal Cultivation Orb, which is a new addition in Fate of the Vaal. Vaal Cultivation Orbs can replace mods on a unique corrupted item. Here, the cultivated mods on Plaguefinger are replacing a mod that usually counts all damage towards poison, which you'd imagine is useful for a poison build. But in this case, Pants is using the original Sin unique ring to convert all their remaining elemental damage to chaos damage instead, since poison magnitude is based on physical and chaos damage by default. Pants has actually achieved greater damage per second by tripling down on chaos damage, which contributes to poison magnitude directly. Not bad for the reptile equivalent of a cat with a hairball. Also, as you can see from the swarm of purple charges, this build uses Volatility. Volatility is a charge we can build up when we critically hit an enemy. After a few seconds, the charges detonate, and we gain 1% extra chaos damage for each charge that detonated, as long as we survive the explosion, of course. With Oracle, landing critical hits is not a problem, as the Forced Outcome node makes critical hits inevitable. This guarantees us heaps of extra chaos damage without having to spend a bunch of skill points on crit chance, which is a really efficient use of the passive tree. Pants is really tightening their belt on this one. The real challenge is surviving the detonation of the volatility charges. To achieve this, Pants is using this mod to convert a chunk of the physical damage from the explosion into fire damage. Then, we can have a couple of mods that apply our armor to elemental damage. And to ensure we have enough armor to pull this off, Pants is using the Guatalitzi's Thesis Soul Core to get armor equal to 25% of recent life lost. So every time the charges explode, we lose some life and gain some armor, which then gets applied to our elemental damage, which works on our physical damage that got converted to fire damage. Easy. Maybe. Lastly, the Oracle Ascendancy has a unique cluster of nodes on the passive tree that altogether grant 135 armor increase while stationary. To take advantage of this, we need to detonate the volatility manually using the Catharsis support gem. Here, Catharsis is linked to the Shred skill. Shred is a speedy melee skill for the wolf form that is used while stationary. Pants can now explode to their heart's content without bursting at the seams. For bossing, Pants is using the Zoth's Pyre Lineage Support Gem, which further boosts their Chaos damage and makes Chaos contribute to Ignition. This is supplemented by a few powerful Chaos nodes on the passive tree that only the Oracle can access, culminating in a nightmarish blast of bad breath to match the Toxic Vomit. Now Pants can really take off. As always, there's a lot more going on in this build that we don't have time to get into here, but there you have it, a volatile barfing lizard powered by Chaos. Thank you to Pants for the slam dunk of a build. It has a fun theme and a very interesting use of lineage support gems. Please check out their detailed guide in the description. See you next time!